We're in Belfast with the high school and middle school cross-country coaches, Chris Riley and Jeremy Elsom. And hey, guys, thanks again for being on Black Hills TV.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, thanks.
And thanks. Last week that was really cool. Give us a tour of the home course there at Belfast Country Club.
Yeah, that was fun. Anytime you can get a golf cart and ride around, it's a good day.
Yeah. How'd the kids do in that meet?
It was a good day. So, varsity boys race, Sawyer Clarkson won going away by about 30 seconds. He had a great race. He had pushed early by Jonathan Burkhalter from Bison, who's a talented senior, and he just kind of ran away a little after the mile mark and gapped the field and looked really good, really smooth. Ran about a minute faster than last year for our course. He ran 17:07, which isn't excessively fast as a 5K time just looking at it if you compare to around the state, but for our course that's a really good competitive time. Not many kids would be able to be in the low 17s.
Chris, when you gave us a tour of the golf course, you were showing us that last stretch is all kind of downhill. And now, as a coach, during a meet like that, where are you?
Kind of all over. We try to catch them about a quarter mile into the start, or I do there. Jeremy's also in different spots on the course. And then I cut through to the back to about the mile mark. And then I try to catch them before that downhill stretch because we want them to start their finish kick way before they get to that downhill, because everyone's going to be fast there. You're not going to pass kids really on a big downhill. You got to start rolling before that a little bit. Besides Sawyer, Aiden Voiles made his varsity debut. He had a great JV race at Douglas, placed in second. He was 16th in varsity, so one spot shy of being a medalist, but ran about 19:30, which is a pretty good first 5K of the year for him and his best ever 5K time. And that's tough to set a personal record on that course. So for him to PR there is a good sign. It means he's come along pretty nicely as far as that goes. On the varsity girls side, Ava Allen ended up 4th. Just had kind of a classic, quiet, methodical race. She just kind of starts out towards the front to mid-pack and just quietly works her way forward. And at the end, she always seems to be right there. And Allison Hayes was 15th. Probably didn't have quite the race she wanted, but she's put in so much work. She can have what might be considered not a great race and still place, which she did. And then in the JV boys race, we only had 3 boys in it, but they all ran awesome. And it was PRs for the ones that had run 5Ks before, Dustin Kolb and Harley Rivera. And then Jaden Jensen, it was his first ever 5K. He's a sophomore that came out for the first time this year. So of course it's a PR if you've never run the distance before, but he had a really good race too. Those 3 were all in the top 15 out of 40 plus runners and just looked really smooth. They were aggressive the whole way. I thought they executed a great race plan and never really settled. And pretty excited about potential for those 3 to come up and provide some varsity depth later in the season.
And Coach, what you got up next?
So we've got a middle school meet at the country club. So we had a split squad here last week. And then varsity kids are off this week, and we'll go to Brookings next week, hopefully. Brookings has kind of been a bit over the Wild West, it seems like, with some high COVID numbers, but hopefully just sticking to the golf course, a cross-country race, we can avoid the college and whatever else is going on around there. So Brookings would be a great meet for us. It's a pretty smooth, flat course. I ran there in high school and college. At meets, it's just on their Edgebrook golf course, which is fairly flat if it's not a real windy day, which Brookings can occasionally get a little breezy this time of year. If we get a nice calm day, I think our kids can really fly down there and gain some big confidence heading into the second half of our season, into conference and regions, and hopefully get some kids into the state meet.
I know, of course, you guys run with the kids, and you guys both being excellent runners, both been to the Boston Marathon?
Excellent. I don't know about that. So, no,
Excellent.
I've always run out of talent before the end of a marathon, so I've actually never qualified for Boston. I've got the Boston app on my phone, though, so I track the Boston Marathon if that counts for anything. And I watch the live stream in school on that Monday every year with the kids. And we caught a sneak peek of this guy in the middle of the race the other year.
Yeah, let's talk to someone who's been in the Boston Marathon.
Yep, I ran the Boston Marathon in 2019, this last year.
Tell us about the Boston Marathon. I mean, I'm sure you could talk for a long time. I've never been there, but for whether we have runners listening or someone who's never ran, tell us about that course.
Well, they say it's a net downhill, but there's a little bit more uphill than you would think. Heartbreak Hill really isn't that heartbreaking if you're running out here, but running out there with the humidity and the elevation change, things like that, it really does sneak up on you. It was a lot more crowded of an event than I was really used to. I've never run anything quite that large before. I think there was a field of somewhere around 30,000 runners. And then, of course, you know, it's a point-to-point course, so that doesn't loop back on itself. So there's 26 miles of fans just basically screaming the entire way, pretty much. It was a little overwhelming for someone who likes the calm and quiet of South Dakota.
And if I might ask, how'd you finish in the Boston Marathon?
Oh, 5,200 and something out of about 30,000. I went out.
Leading the race at the halfway.
Was not leading the race. I was a little ambitious when I went out, and I went out a little hard for, I guess, my training that year. Had a pretty respectable first 15 miles before the wheels fell off, and I kind of stumbled in at about a 3:18, I think it was, somewhere in there.
Wow. And Chris, you've still got that app on your phone?
Yeah, I still got the app. I think it just updated last week, so I should be set to go for hopefully the 2021 Boston Marathon, the track my friends that are actually fast enough to get there.
All right. Well, Jeremy and Chris, we appreciate you taking time to visit with us.
Yeah, thanks.
Anytime.
Yeah.